Hi, I'm WendyMichelle Thompson, and I'm coming back for an update on my Christmas giveaway contest. Now, I excitedly brought this all up on Monday, this past Monday, December the 7th, and I had explained that there would be a new theme each day, and even, went over it in the video along with the rules, the very simple rules, and that would be in the description as well. Now, I wasn't seeing a lot of activity with it, so I didn't film another video, but much to my surprise, there were tons of people watching the video, but not engaging in the game. And I'm thinking, why? When it is so simple. The rules were not hard at all. And I was just like, wow, a lot of people are watching this and they're watching it for a good amount of time. But to not go ahead and participate when you get all these awesome free gifts, like literally from me to you for participating in the game. Now, I am going to go ahead and do what I said I would do because I said each day was a theme. So I'll go through that in a minute. And I'll also quickly show you flashes of every single prize that is being offered. So it's not too late to jump into the game, but you do have to meet the requirements for each day. And I am giving you until it is 11:59 p.m. Pacific time, Sunday. Let's see, and then Sunday would be, let's see, if today, Friday is the 11th, 12th, 13th. Yep. So actually, it would be Monday the 14th, my time, 3 a.m., when, like, no more of the likes, the shares, the comments, the just the little pieces that I ask you to do for each theme. I won't accept any new ones that are posted after that point. And then by next Wednesday and Thursday, I will be getting in touch with the winners and announcing them also. So guys, this is not hard at all. And even if you're not interested in the gifts, I guarantee you there is someone in your life that is interested in them. And they are of great value. Some of those Joyce Meyer CD sets I paid over $40 for. So, I don't know. But I had also mentioned that if anyone had sent, whether they posted it in comments, and I know these are extremely sensitive subjects that you may not want the whole internet reading, I give you the option of sending it to my email address. And I want to correct the email address that you're sending it to. It's fine. I've seen all the ones that came to the one that I announced earlier, but I would actually see it a lot faster if you send it to the email, and I'll put this on the screen. Hello, and this is all lowercase and run together. Hello, Thompson Wendy at gmail.com. So that way you can interact with me privately, and if you don't want all your shoes all over the internet, I completely understand. That is fine. And it doesn't go anywhere. And no, I'm not going to do anything with your email address. And sell it and bombard you with emails. So, anyways, for the sake of the contest, I had already mentioned Monday for me, Miracle Monday. I was told that I could never have kids. And I ended up having 4 of my own. The first one was an extreme emergency C-section at the last minute. Things were touch and go. The doctor even said, he came in, he's like, okay, you have no option. A C-section has to be done at this point. He didn't tell us why, and it was something that he had erred on, which was causing the problems and whatnot. But I'll leave it at that. But my life was in danger, and so was my son's. And we had spent close to 3 years trying to get pregnant. So this was a much awaited, so delighted to be pregnant the whole 9 months. And this doctor was old school. He did not believe in ultrasounds unless there was something wrong with the woman's health, that type of thing. And when I first went into labor, I kept telling him that I was leaking amniotic fluid. And we woke him up, which made him even more grouchy than he already was. He's just one of those doctors that just never has a bedside manner, And it's like, okay, maybe an RN myself. I have worked with so many doctors. Other nurses, other people that work in the healthcare system, that you all work together as a team. It is so obvious when they don't find joy in their job anymore, and maybe they went into it for the wrong reasons, for the money, but don't really care about the patients and the families. I tell you one thing, I have worked with children and teens and detoxing addicts, and I've worked in a medium security men's prison, and they know if you don't care. You might can hide it somewhat, or sneak it over on people that, if you have a general practice, that type of thing. When it comes to kids, especially kids that are having a rough time, and so I was working with them with mental health issues and physical health things. And I did another job that was very much like that, where the kids had been extremely abused, so they were diagnosed with all kinds of disorders. And then went on to be a detox nurse, which was anything from alcohol, heroin, meth, crack, you name it. Yeah. And then started working at men's prison. And, I loved every single one of those jobs. I truly, truly did. But I am a nurturer. I always wanted to have kids. And that's my thankful Thursday. So thankful for my children. So thankful for my family. So thankful for everything that God has given me, because none of it I have earned based on my works, my acts, whatever I could say or do. No, it's given to me by the grace of God and His favor. And so I don't take for granted the things that I have in my life. I don't take for granted the people I have in my life. Sometimes the people we love the most disappear for a period of time, and it's very painful and hurtful, and we don't understand why. But I had to let go of the stress and worry of that type of thing. So that would take me back to Wellness Wednesday, explaining that one. I had been doubled over in horrendous stomach pain. I would say like right here where the ribs separate. That's where I was feeling the pain. I'll back up a little bit more. Yeah, I'm so short. Can't really see. I need a booster seat, so I decided I was standing for these videos. I need a booster seat bad. The only thing I had made me a little too tall, and I was not going to change all my equipment settings. So anyways, but this went on for a long time. And as a nurse, and you work long hours and you get very little sleep, we are often the worst patients or the worst ones to go into the doctor, because that's what we do all the time. And we're stuck there for so many hours afterwards. Just because your shift is over and someone has come to replace you doesn't mean you get to leave. You could have been running your tail off all night long between all your patients. But if your documenting is not done, if the blood work is not done, and I've always been one of those people where I don't pass off to the next shift what I needed to do during my shift. I typically work third shift. It works well with my eternal insomnia that I've had since infanthood. So, I was just like, okay, the only time that I would leave is that when my supervisor would be like, okay, Wendy, yeah, you can go ahead and delegate that to the next nurse. But that's just how I am. I do not like being thought of not getting my job done. I'm like such a type A person. It's insane. But it's just like, yeah. And I felt like, okay, that is not only, my job is not only seeing the patients, it's doing all the putting into their charts online and whatnot, and figuring out if they need new prescriptions on things and all of that. That was my job to complete it, because it happened while I was there, and I didn't know if it was done, if I handed it off to the next person that was coming in to replace me. So, yeah, like people would have to say, go home, Wendy. And I needed to. But I was doubled over with pain and had no clue really what was going on. And I'm thinking about everything anatomically, and I'm like, wow, I wonder if I have an upper hernia. When I first began my nursing career, I was in the OR as a scrub nurse, and we would go back and forth between scrub nursing and circulating. And so I was scrubbed in a lot of hernia operations, and there's several types of hernias that you can have. But, oh man, it was really, really bad the day that we could finally leave and have our honeymoon. We were married February 20th. It was just weeks later that COVID just broke out like insanely. And school came to a halt. All normal life came to a halt. So we had originally planned to delay the honeymoon and do it over Easter break. Todd's vacation time worked out with when Zoe was going to be out of school. Well, who would have predicted the old COVID? What a year. So, yeah, no one was going anywhere. And as soon as they started opening up the beaches and everything, Todd went ahead and booked. And yes, we had my 10-and-a-half-year-old with us on our honeymoon. Why not? She's been with us for everything else. And wasn't going to leave her with someone. So, but I'm packing. And I remember I wanted to get a Facebook Live in before I left. And I just all of a sudden became extremely lightheaded, queasy. And I'm like, I've been so excited about going to the beach. It's been a year since I'd been. I'm like, what is going on? This makes no sense. And this was the first time, I'd had pain in that area and it would be bad. It would not just go away. It would lift up a little bit and then the intensity, but yeah, it would pretty much stay. And I would try to take pain relievers and, antacids and different things. And it just seemed to make it worse. So my whole honeymoon, I'm like in this horrific pain. And I was vomiting before we got in the car. And I pretty much slept all the way there. And I'm not one of those people that can sleep in a moving car. I'll get that moving sickness. Yeah. I finally got to experience what everyone else in my life experiences. Going to sleep as soon as a trip starts. And then it seems like, ooh, we're here in 15 minutes because I slept the whole time. That's what I did. I was just felt so sick. I'm gluten intolerant, and I have known this for quite some time, and I am vigilant with my diet, and I'll go all into this with my personal testimony and my food and eating habits and, the exercise videos. But yeah, if I have a little bit of a cheat, it is so not worth it. I found out right away. But, here I am following all the guidelines and not cheating, I wasn't having any alcohol or anything like that. I could not understand why I was in this horrific pain. So it was another 2 months. The pain just got so bad, and I was just constantly like that. So I'm like, all right, I give up. I've got to go see my doctor. Well, of course, my normal doctor was not available. I ended up seeing a different doctor in the practice who I had never even met before. He did some blood work. He was listening to everything I said. He knew I was an RN. So, I was like, okay, she knows what she's talking about, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, okay, we're going to go ahead and get blood work today, and I'll be back in touch with you. Well, the very next day, I was being sent to have emergency ultrasounds done. So that was done. And before that evening was over with, I was told I was being set up for an emergency endoscopic procedure. That was September the 30th that I went in for that. And I found out I had a crazy amount of stomach ulcers. Now, stomach ulcers can be caused by a lot of things. And I do not like taking pain medication. And so when I really have to take something, I would typically take a Motrin because I knew Tylenol wouldn't help or would not help for very long. But still, it wasn't like I was throwing Motrin down like it was candy, I have like lower back pain from, an injury that happened when Zoe was 5. And I still get prescribed muscle relaxers for that. I hardly ever take them. I have an overabundance of those things. So, I was just like, oh, no. I just don't want to put myself where I'm addicted to anything, because I've seen people detoxing, and I've seen how painkillers, although it was meant for good in the beginning, it's just so easy to get hooked on them, and it controls your life. But anyways, yes, I covered up my personal data pretty much. I am going to show this up to you close up. These are the pictures of my endoscopy. Everything that is white is a ulcer. I kid you not. Brought on by stress. Trying to be a perfectionist, trying so hard to make everybody happy, but neglecting my own happiness. And I was finding out too, all this time, that I'm trying to make others happy. Well, it didn't really seem to matter, the sacrifice. Once they got what they wanted, boom, bye-bye. And so they wanted something else. That has been causing extreme stress in my life. That's when stress is like, okay, that's when it gets real. It's when it is physically damaging your body to where my stomach was just eat up with ulcers. I've been on treatment medication for it, because those ulcers cannot heal. You can take a medication to coat them. And I have to go back in for constant endoscopic procedures to make sure I'm doing okay and that more are not developing. Some were pretty deep. Thankfully, none of them were bleeding. That was a big, huge positive. But the doctor said no NSAIDs. So no more Motrin. I was like, good grief. And I pretty much always stayed away from Tylenol because I didn't want Tylenol affecting my liver. I'm like, well, what in the world am I supposed to take for pain? And he's like, well, you can take Tylenol. I'm thinking, Tylenol doesn't do anything for my pain. It doesn't. But so that's my Wellness Wednesday. You know, I told you about my medical or my Miracle Monday, Wellness Wednesday, Thankful Thursday. Tuesday is Testimony Tuesday. I went through anorexia starting in the 3rd grade and into my early 20s. Many, many years. And that is way too much for this video. But yes, I came out of it. But I had to want the help. I had to see that I needed help. Because it's so much more than what people think. Oh, well, you're just not eating, so you need to eat. No, there was a lot more that went into it. And I am making a video, you know, especially about that because I just have it really on my heart to share the whole thing. And testimony, of course, is constantly changing in your walk with God. But I just thought that was just such a huge part of my younger life into my 20s. I was scared I wasn't getting pregnant because of me being malnourished for so long. And it turns out it wasn't even an issue with my body after all the tests and all the very expensive invasive tests that they put women through instead of just, let's check the sperm count on the husband. Well, that was the issue, you know. But after that, my doctor was like, no, you can't have kids. There's no way. Because the sperm count that was being produced each time, well, they were not fast swimmers, so they would die before they would get anywhere near my uterus. So when I finally just stopped with all the ovulating kit type things and doing the temperature and all the crazy stuff, I mean, I was just so fixated on it because I wanted children so, so, so badly. And it seemed like all my friends, they tried one time, boom, they were pregnant, and it was not the case for me. So I can highly relate to Rachel in the Bible being barren. I can relate to Hannah. I remember a friend of mine, as I was going through that, her saying, here, you know, read about Hannah. And I had before, but it's just, I was so much younger and it didn't just really, I guess, soak in to where I'm like, yeah, that's something I need to review. But anyways, so I had asked you guys to like the video. If you did indeed like it, share it on some other social platform. If you don't have another social platform, which is the rarity, but I realize that there are some people that don't, you know, share my channel somehow, some way. Word of mouth, can do it, and whatnot. Put in a comment on the first day, introduce yourself, and say, okay, I showed all the prizes and there were some things specifically for small children. I'm like, okay, if you have small children, tell me, okay, I have small kids and I want the finger puppets. And what's so funny is I was wearing some necklaces, 2 different types of necklaces and 2 different types of bracelets. And because I was wearing them, I forgot to show them that they were prizes that were included as well. I will include quick little pictures of those in this video. But anyways, so that is just what you're asked to do each day. Tuesday, Testimony Tuesday. If you didn't feel comfortable putting it in the comments, say, hey, I liked, I shared, and I'll be sending you an email. And like I said, send it to hello.thompsonwendy@gmail.com. And I have received quite a few in the email. And I tell you what, those are touching stories. Very, very touching stories. And I've been praying over them. And that was the whole point. I want to be able to give to others because God has given me so much. He has blessed me so much. He has moved mountains for me and my family. At times, literally, He has. There is just no doubt in my mind. Oh, yes, I completely believe that He parted the Red Sea and Moses and all those people walked through it because there have been what I thought was impossible circumstances in my life, and God made it all work out, and to God be the glory. And the last is Freedom Friday. Today's Friday, so today is the last day of submitting, commenting, liking, sharing what freedom means to you. Please let me know if you've been in the military or if you're a veteran, you have a family member, such a spouse, a child. I have such a huge military family, for example, and it may go up even more than this, but my father's father, my grandfather, he was in World War II. Relatives, that were on my mother's side of the family, they were in the military, also involved in World War II, and didn't come home. My grandfather came back home. He didn't have all of one of his fingers, but he was blessed. And several uncles in the military. My dad was in the military. And my oldest son has been in the Air Force. Next month, it will be 8 years. And he married someone he met in the Air Force. So I know that our freedom, we need to be so thankful for our military, past, present, future. So thankful for our police officers and our firemen and women and EMT services and nurses. And, there are so many people out there that deserve kudos, congratulations, thank you for being out there on the front line all during COVID. For example, I had mentioned that my husband is a truck driver for a major grocery store chain. His work highly increased because, as you can remember, there was a shortage of toilet paper, hand sanitizer, paper towels, just so many different things. And yeah, they did their best with getting what they could in because people were just buying things so quickly. I mean, they would barely bring stuff into a store. People were buying up the paper towels before the suckers could get them back on the shelves. But volunteer work, tell me about anything that has made a huge impact on your life in this year in particular, and why freedom means so much to you. I have been to other countries where they don't have the freedoms we have. And yes, the United States has been very chaotic for a while, but we do still have huge freedoms because of all the people I mentioned. And it doesn't have to be military or people that are police officers. I mean, we have to have people delivering our food. You know, those people are ranked just exactly where military and everyone else is, because that is how our economy works. That is how our nation works. We all, with our gifts and talents, play our part in keeping the United States functioning and going. So this is starting to run a little long, and I didn't expect that. But yes, guys, I will be accepting all these submissions, even through Sunday Pacific time, right before it turns midnight. So that would be 3 a.m. my time. And next week, I will be announcing the winners, and there's super bonuses for people that are subscribers. And this is not to, twist your arm or whatever, but I feel like it's only right if non-subscribers can play the game and win prizes. I think it's only fair that the subscribers get the more expensive prizes. And with the very few that are involved right now, they're going to get quite the bundle packet. So you guys need to jump in with this. I love you guys. I just saw on my camera flash that it might be going out of battery pretty soon. Please, please, please. Even if I have to do a short little video later to remind you what the prizes are, play the game. Please do, because I want to bless as many people as possible. But yeah, there's also gift cards included, and it's for stories that have touched my heart. And it doesn't have to be a sad story. It could be a story of victory, something that you overcame, a huge challenge or whatever, and you are giving God the glory, all the glory for it. And yep, it's not like a game show where, whoever has the worst sad story is going to probably win. No. We all have sad stories, but I know the devil wants us to focus on our sad stories. No, we are not here to be sad and miserable. If we are trying to work out things with people, whatever the scenario is, work, whatever, and they are not working with you and have no desire to talk things out, what can you do at that point? In my situation, I pray every single day. They're the ones that made the choice to not even let me know what's wrong. It's pretty unfair and hurtful, but I also, when I saw this, I'm like, wow, no, this can't continue anymore. This is what is happening to my body. And I have a little girl still at home that needs a mom. So, guys, participate. I love you. God bless you today and all your tomorrows. Come on, better play. Put it in the comments.